joining us, we have Holly, Caroline, and Sayward, and they are here to talk with us about the Spring Appalachian Dance Ensemble, which actually opens this evening. So thank you guys for making time for us today. I'm sure it's a busy day.
It is busy, but we are happy to be here.
Wonderful. Well, tell us a little bit about the Appalachian Spring Dance Ensemble.
So this is our spring concert that we put on, and actually it's the oldest of our concerts, which I think is kind of fun about it. And it's made up of student choreography, faculty choreography, and this year we had a guest artist who has a piece in the show, and actually Sayward was the rehearsal mistress for that. So we have lots going on with it, and it's a good show this year.
Fantastic. So talk with us a little bit about preparing for this event.
So we hold auditions back in the fall. First we'll choose choreographers, and then we have the dancer auditions. And once the casts are made, we usually rehearse at least twice a week.
Okay.
And a lot of it's a work in progress. So most of these as our original pieces. So the choreographers, both faculty and student, are usually making it up as they go along, so to speak. So the students come in expecting to learn material, but also to have someone who is trying to think of what is going to come next and how it's going to be pieced together. So which is one of the great things about the show, is the big scope of it is about the process, and the students are involved in this process of watching art created and being a piece of the creation of art, and then it's original stuff that gets put on. I think only Roger Bellman's piece has been performed before, and the rest of them have not.
Awesome. So how are each one of you guys involved in this?
So I'm a faculty, and I'm one of the choreographers, the faculty choreographers for the show.
Okay.
I'm a student choreographer and also a dancer in one of the faculty pieces. So
multiple jobs there.
Yeah. And I'm adjunct faculty, but I took on rehearsing Roger's piece. He was here. He's full-time faculty at Florida State and teaches at the American Dance Festival and all over the world. And he came in for a week, had auditions, and taught them the entire piece. He did one section that he's done previously on several different ballet and modern companies, even Milwaukee Ballet, East Carolina, University of Wisconsin, and then he created a new section just for these dancers. So he had 1 week of rehearsal while it was snowing the entire time, and then I've had it since then and have been rehearsing and working with the dancers to clean it and get them ready for performance. So.
Awesome. So talk with us a little bit about kind of filling in for him while he's not here. What is that like?
I took a lot of notes during the process, and even wrote down a lot of sort of the cues and language that he would use with the dancers, so that I could bring back some of those things, like dropping the pelvis, feel the weight of the arms, release the spine, like all of the typical things to try to almost pretend that I'm him and give them some of the same cues. But then also trying to find a new way for them to dig deeper into the performance quality. And we really talked about sort of the intention of the piece and what they get out of it, not necessarily his intention, but what they're feeling. So we dug a little deeper into that. But it's been fun and interesting.
Wow. How many people are you training?
In that piece, there's 10 dancers, so it was a lot to do at once. A lot of the pieces are pretty large casts. I think Holly has the biggest cast.
I have 14. We have, I think, 51 dancers total.
Oh, wow.
Some of who are actually even double cast for, they'll be in 1 or 2 dances. So we have a very large cast this year. I think Schroen's got
Probably about 14.
Or no, yeah, he's 12, 13, 14, something like that. So we have several big. I think our smallest
It's
piece
like
is
6. Yeah.
And everybody's.
So how much preparing does it take to do 2 different dances?
For the dancers,
Yes.
a lot of time in the studio. So if a dancer's cast twice, they're looking at usually about, let's see, up to 8 hours of rehearsal a week.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
It's a big time commitment.
And it's really hard on their bodies. I know even when Roger was there, they were doing a lot of athletic movement that they weren't as used to doing because they don't have him on a regular basis. And they were getting like floor burns and things on their feet, you know, bloody feet, and then they would panic because they had another rehearsal right afterwards. So it was this mentality of, not only do I have to be well for your rehearsal, but I have another one next.
Right.
So yeah, definitely a lot of stress, but I think good stress.
Definitely. Now, Caroline, talk with us. You're a choreographer and a dancer. How are you balancing that?
It's kind of the same thing. It's almost like being double cast because I have rehearsal for myself and I'm preparing for, and then also rehearsal for another piece. So it's a lot of time, but it's what I love, so it's okay. So it's an interesting process, like having to be prepared to know how to teach your dancers like what you're wanting to see, and doing it in groups, and like and also being alert and available for the piece that I'm in. So it's been fun. It's been a challenge. I have more dancers. I've choreographed last spring also, so luckily I've had experience before. So that was helpful. But I've got a larger cast this semester, so that's been an interesting challenge too. But
Now, how do you become a student choreographer? What is that process?
well, right before the dancer auditions in the beginning of the semester, we have choreographer auditions, and so you come in with a concept, an idea, how many dancers, costume, lighting, whatever you have prepared, and music, and present it to the faculty and show a little bit of movement that you have already, and then they choose from. I think we had maybe 15 people audition this past time, so.
And they chose 4. Yeah.
So a big accomplishment there to actually be picked to be one of the choreographers.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, Holly, can you tell us a little bit about the piece that you choreographed and what that is like and where your inspiration came from?
Well, life was inspiration. I guess that's where most art comes from. We can always say that. The title of the piece is Love, Lust, and Other Stories. And the idea behind it is, you know, when you meet someone and you kind of have that, ooh, who are you?
Right.
And it explores where that can go. Like, is it love at first sight? Or is it, you know, okay, 3 weeks later, you're not really thinking about that person anymore and you're on to somebody else. So that's kind of the gist of it. It's human relationships and love. But really that moment, that meeting of someone.
Right. Now, is it difficult to carry an idea like that and an emotion like that onto your dancers and for them to kind of pick up what you're feeling for the piece?
You know, it was a challenge in some ways because I'm more of usually when I choreograph, I generate from movement more than an overall kind of narrative idea. So this is not the first, but it's been a very long time since I've done a narrative type dance. So trying to come up with storylines and stuff and create characters on the dancers was not my typical way of creating dance. It was so much fun. And I have a fantastic cast who are game for anything. I could tell them to do anything and they were like, okay, and would do it. And it was just a lot of fun, and they've had so much fun doing it that it really reads, and it's a lot of fun. It's actually a fun piece. There's a little bit of funny moments in it. We had a good time.
That's great.
And then what about your piece?
I have several layers going on with it, so it's interesting to explain. But so I'm graduating this year, and I'm double majoring in studio art and dance, and so I'm trying to incorporate a little bit of my visual art life. And so it's kind of about the creative process and like that idea of like exploring and mark making, like visually, and getting to that point where you're like, I want it to be this, and like trying to force it, and then all of a sudden you just let go, and then it just becomes what it needs to be, kind of thing. And it's also so it's all of that, but through the lens of the ocean. And so it's kind of like the dancers begin on the bottom of the ocean floor, and then they kind of get to this point where it's like tension and like seeing the surface and like I gotta get up there, and then by the end they're just kind of they're free and like allowing themselves to go where they need to go. So
It's very
yeah.
Now, talk with us a little bit about the days and times that people can come and see these great dances.
Okay, so it starts tonight, and our closing night is on Saturday. So the rest of this week, the show opens at 7:30. We recommend getting there at least by 7:15 to make sure that people get tickets. And the box office can be, I'm going to use my cheat sheet. You can actually call the box office. The local number is 262-3063. That's 262-3063. Or 800-841-ARTS.
Okay.
And get ticket prices, and you can actually get tickets in advance and pick them up at the door. So,
Awesome.
Perfect. Sounds like a fun event.
yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming in on this very busy opening day to talk with us. We really appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
No problem. And we will be back right after these messages with more of the Mountain Television Network.